Welcome back to the Crypto Ski conversation. We're going to jump into this starting with Wheezy X post here. His tweet here says, "Hey John Deaton, D. Lauer was able to get a discussion with Gary Gensler after 55,000 people signed a petition to be heard, but he continues to ignore 75,000 innocent XRP holders." So he's talking about this petition right here. Which is absolutely shameful because he even put this up here tomorrow at 4 Eastern ET. I'll be joining Lauer and a few others for a live Twitter discussion. We'll be discussing equity market structure topics, and that was from this. But for years, I mean, we've been building, the class action lawsuit and community that's been trying to get their voices heard and to, in a sense, be seen and not ignored by our chairman Gensler, who's so-called set out to protect us, but he's meeting with these people. Shady stuff. More stuff is going to be coming in here in regards of Chairman Gensler. I wonder if I want to cover this, but I put it on here. So this was from John Deaton responding to Laura Shins. It says, Laura Shins says, SEC enforcement does not set the law, but Polygon's Rebecca says the impact of Gary Gensler's actions are clear. There is the massive chilling effect. So John Deaton says, great job by them explaining the practical impact versus the legal impact of SEC enforcement actions. The SEC admitted that it claim of a token being security is just that, a claim, and the court will decide if that claim is a valid one, which is just dirty, man. Let's take a quick listen into this.
I think the statements that really do cause fear in the crypto ecosystem, and again with retail users, because the statements, may happen, and then Chair Gensler's on Squawk Box the next morning talking about it and really speaking to maybe not even retail users, but what we'd call normies, just traditional people who are in the financial markets. And the message they're getting is crypto is bad, crypto is for criminals. And so I think that there is this massive chilling effect, even through these one-off enforcement actions. I think the other piece of it is enforcement actions are not precedential law. They don't set the law. What they do is they say this set of facts and circumstances the SEC thought was illegal. And the important part to take away is Kraken did not admit or deny liability. They settled to, have some finality and some certainty around it so they can go around conducting whatever other parts of their business they believe are important without going in for a long haul fight with the SEC.
If you enjoyed this clip, watch.
It's crazy that that's the reality for a lot of these, entrepreneurs and these blockchain companies and these, digital asset projects out there, man. This is the reality we live in. Chairman Gensler and the SEC aren't helping anybody. They're hurting the industry. They're hurting investors. Eleanor Tress says the September edition of Gary Gensler's public calendar, has been added to the SEC government website. Highlights include 4 calls with CFT chairman, and this is CFTC chair Rostin Benham, and 2 calls with former SEC General Counsel John Coates, plus meetings with Vanguard, Ambassador Nicholas Burns, and then BlackRock, which is like, okay, Vanguard and BlackRock. Okay, what? So coming down here, John Dean goes, it's important to know that Vanguard manages Gensler's personal fortune of over 100 million, and he has given them excessive access to his office since he became SEC chair. But yeah, he can't, meet or have a conversation or truly set out to, carry through the agenda that he's so-called supposed to be setting and protecting the investors. But he's hurting them. But he can't even respond to over 75,000, people that's been hurt, investors that's been hurt by the lawsuit that was dropped against Ripple. And it goes in with what Wheezy X says. It's like this person got a 55,000 petition and they can get, they can have a conversation, but you're ignoring everybody else. Moving on here. Digital Asset asked a good question. He goes, hey, John Dean, is it possible for there to be an SEC versus Ripple partial settlement and a partial appeal, which could end up in Supreme Court? And John Deaton says, in my opinion, Ripple would pay 100 to 250 million in a settlement if the SEC agreed publicly that current and future sales of XRP are not securities. The SEC is not going to agree to that in the middle of its war versus crypto. Judge Torres could provide clarity on secondary sales, which isn't appealed. It's just literally it's just going to be continue to be drug on they're going to squeeze everything they possibly can out of it. And God forbid if it goes to Supreme Court, yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. Hopefully not, but it is what it is. Cowboy Crypto says the SEC has missed all major crypto frauds. That's not a coincidence, which he's absolutely correct here. Let me go ahead and like this. It ties in with this tweet from Jesse Powell and Digital Asset Investor. So Jesse Powell says, I have a theory. Regulators let the bad guys get big and blow up because it serves their agenda. Destroy capital, resources, and crypto ecosystem, burn people, deter adoption, give air cover to attack good actors. The bad guys are actually on side. Good guys are the enemy. He continues, if the bad guys can run long enough without blowing up, they might just kill the good guys for you. Bad guys operate with huge competitive advantages. They suck up users, revenue, and venture capital that would be otherwise have gone to good guys. Bad guys can always be jailed later. I mean, that is just... Digital Asset Investor says the White House, CFTC, Congress, and SEC were all planning with FTX. Are we really supposed to believe they all missed the fraud? And it ties into what Cowboy Crypto says. The SEC missed all the major crypto frauds. That's no coincidence. And then all the rest. It's just shameful, man. This is from Meta Law, man. It says, Life in Gary Gensler's World, a case study. In April 2021, Paxos went in to register with the SEC. Its securities clearance service. Paxos said that it expected the SEC registration would become effective by the end of the year 2021. Well, it's 2 years later, and surprise, Paxos still has no securities clearance license from the SEC. But the SEC did not leave Paxos totally empty-handed. The SEC did deliver a notice to Paxos, threatening to sue them for issuing the stablecoin Binance USD. Which the SEC now claims is security. Paxos says they are still working with SEC on their securities clearance application from 2021. So it's fair to say Gary Gensler has a bit of a leverage over Paxos to compel a settlement on the Binance USD stablecoin. Welcome to life in Gary's world. I mean, beautifully said, straight. I mean, that's just, we all know that. This is literally how he operates. Come in and talk so we can, so we can get information on you and come after you and drag you along and keep the water muddy and the vision unclear and foggy. Keep it the rules and regulations in the gray area so they can operate and manipulate the narrative how they want. That's the reality. It's crazy. John D says, another example of why it is malpractice to advise your client to volunteer anything to Gary Gensler and the SEC. John Deaton says this. He goes, the SEC claims are so stupidly outrageous that it argues a person who acquires XRP in Japan is in common enterprise with Ripple and other XRP holders, and XRP is a security, even though Japan's own regulator says it's not. XRP is the second most popular crypto in Japan. So as you can see, as you keep looking at all these different examples, this is literally what we live on a daily basis. And it's clear that Chairman Gensler and the SEC are literally coming after everything, and they're going to do everything they possibly can to wrap their arms and get their tentacles and claws into everything as much as possible until Congress steps up. We're still waiting for that new day, Tom Emmer. This is from Crypto Law. Says, you haven't protected a single retail holder of digital assets with any of your enforcement actions. In fact, you've harmed many of them and failed to prevent massive frauds that happen right under your nose. Yep, hands down. And I wanted to end with this one from Eleanor Terra. This is about Coinbase. It says, new from Coinbase, a Q4 shareholder letter. Quote, we don't believe we have violated any securities laws. Coinbase staking products are not securities. USD coin, USDC, is not a security. The list goes on. We expect 2023 to be a year of regulatory focus, and we believe are strong. The foundation will make us a net beneficiary of this new environment. The SEC seems determined to increase the jurisdiction over digital assets, despite most of the existing U.S. market not satisfying Howey or any other test that would result in digital assets being securities, which we've all been saying. There's actually been there was like an update on here saying Coinbase was like 600 million down and some other wild number. I mean, Chairman Gensler and the SEC just make me sick. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm getting tired of even talking about it. But the thing is it's such a big deal that we have to stay on top of it. We have to keep having these conversations and making content and getting involved and sending information, because that's our version of fighting the good fight. It's crazy. We're currently sitting at a $1.14 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 24,180. Ethereum sitting at 1641. XRP is sitting at 38 cents, just under 39 cents. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at a 59. So just a waiting game to kind of see what happens. I'm ready for this Ripple versus SEC stuff to be over. I'm ready for some true and just and fair regulations to hit the market, so people know how to operate and do things the right way moving forward. Maybe we can weed out a lot of these bad actors in the space, and this space can truly flourish and solve the real world problems that they're out to solve. We'll see. Just a waiting game. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto'sKey1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.